Tupac, my brother, I am glad to see you again. We thought that you were all dead. You are a ghost of what you were. Have our shamans exorcised the evils of the jungles, and our curanderos healers rid your body of the maggots of death? Tupac recuperated under the care of Amaro Yupanque, and he left for the southern region. After months of harrowing battles, the two sons of TUPAC were apprehended. Kokire, you rebelled against me when I was lost in the jungles, and you had the indignity of taking the name of my father for yourself. I will make tambours of your skin to resound that there is only one Pacacutec, and no one will ever surpass his greatness. The Inca followed the fugitive Kalas to the south shores of the Titicaca Lake, creating terror in the Altiplano's high plains. Great Tupac Yupanque. We are already in the region of the Araucans. Micamalongo and Tangalongo are their ferocious warlords, and no one will ever conquer them. Why not try it with my generals? I will return to Pacartambo, where Otorongo and Chalco are waiting for me. After crossing the great desert of Atacama, his generals saw in the distance the white crest of the Aconcagua at 22,834 feet, the highest volcano of the New World, eventually arriving at the whereabouts of present Santiago de Chile, where he encountered the indomitable Araucans. Micamalongo and Tangalongo, we are the ambassadors of Tupac Inka Yupanque. We bring gifts, and there is much more if you become Incas of privilege. Only the Mal River separates us. Let its waters unite us in peace. Tell your Inca lord that we will never be anything but Araucans. Our freedom means more to us than your worthless bribes. Cross to our side if you can. We will have our spikes ready to traverse your bodies. The Incas placed the stone of demarcation on the north side of the river, the limit of the Inca Empire to the south. The Araucans not only detained the Incas. They also held the Spaniards for some time, many of whom died impaled with greased pointed poles that entered through their anus to come out of their mouths. Tupac Yupanque had extended the empire from a volcano in the south to a volcano in the north, Ecuador, the active Chimborazo at 20,561 feet. A distance of 2,500 miles. On the western flank not even the oceans stopped him, and he ventured to distant islands. To the east, the jungles deterred him from reaching to the Atlantic Ocean. Now an older Tupac, tired of wars, decided to stay in Cuzco. Contrasol, Amaro Yupanque is dead. I have no one in whom I can trust. Not all of us were as you portray us to be. We had good people, and my brother was one of them. Tupac, it would be preposterous of me to think that all of you were the same. But a nation is the representation of all its inhabitants, not only of a few. It is the people who give the soul to a nation. Who knows? If your brother had become the Lord, even as meek as he was, perhaps he would have kept unity in the Tawantinsuyo and not necessarily enlarged the empire. But the way of governing that Pacacutec chose was that of a tyrant, and you are following on the same path. The final outcome of this despotism speaks for itself. Otherwise, how can we account for a few foreigners conquering a great nation? They did not subdue the millions of you, but it was the thousands of oppressed vassals who wanted freedom from the Incas. We didn't lose to the Spaniards, we lost to our own people. Man of the future, I must continue with my destiny according to the actions of my subjects. I will plan the administration of this immense empire, while I finish the fortress of Sacsayhuaman. Nobles, my father left unfinished the head of this Puma city. We should proceed to its completion by moving that boulder that not even 1,000 workers were able to move it. Sepa Inca. That would be impossible. We better give up. Then, in honor to the great architects and my father, leave it where it is. May the future generations with their advanced technology move that tired stone. Tupac, to my days that boulder has not been moved 1 inch, and it will remain there to attest to your greatness. Is it possible that our descendants have not moved that stone, yet? Oh, Inca, in our days, we don't even transport adobes for the common good, and many use cardboards for their houses. Contrasol, I thought you were trying to find out who we were and why we failed, but you seem to be getting lost in the ruins of our past. We know what the Incas were by the constructions they left, but we don't understand what made us into what we are. Man of the future, to conquer was easy. To retain what we unified was difficult. TUPAC INKA. These lands are too extensive to govern. Go and oversee the empire in the north. TUPAC left with thousands of warriors, and a multitude of people. In essence, a Mittami expedition. Once in the north, he acted like a tyrant. Many nobles considered him more powerful than TUPAC. TUPAC, the people respect you as if you were the Sapa Inca. Why not, man of the future? I am older and more experienced than he is. In this town of Yanayaco, they will do anything for me. No wonder, TUPAC's administration is to protect himself from people like you. The Yanayacos may just be a trap set by him to test your loyalty. Kunter Soul, you are like a shaman who can only predict bad omens. Sapa Inka. We come from the land of the Yanayacos. They are rebelling against you under the command of TUPAC INKA. TUPAC left with a great army, and he confronted his brother. TUPAC INKA. I sent you to oversee the empire. Instead, you rose against me. In a moment of rage, TUPAC crushed his skull. Then, the Inca began to kill indiscriminately the innocent and the responsible. His wife told him to stop the carnage, reminding him that it could work against him, just like it did for his father. She told him that instead of slaughtering them, they should be used as servants, or Yanaconas. In that capacity, they served the Incas until the conquistadors came, who also used them for the same purpose. To these days that mentality still exists between the Indians and the mestizos, where one is the master and the other the servant depending on who has the means to humiliate the other, and many of whom relish this symbiotic relationship of master and servant. The Yanaconas were a product of an unfortunate situation, and the conquerors abused that concept, making the Indians worse than slaves. In effect, the only ones who were not subservient to anyone were the inhabitants of the rainforests who guarded their freedom, as savagely as the jungle is. They never wanted any alliance with the Incas or the Spaniards, and presently they don't trust the mestizos who have not changed in their way of thinking in the last 500 years. Kunter Soul, your thoughts are deplorable. Are we responsible for this calamity? Inca, we all are, Indians, mestizos, and the supposed white people. That is why we need to recreate ourselves for own survival. Man of the future, we are coming to the end of our encounter. I feel that all I have done is to enlarge the empire, and not enhance the political essence of my subjects. Perhaps it will happen with my legitimate son, if he is to become the next emperor. Mama Aklo, mother of TUPAC INKA YUPANQUE, I must confess that my love for you is more filial than carnal. I know that you have been weary of Chuka Aklo, who is my concubine. We have a son, Capac Wari, who is older than Titu. Since he was born in Cuzco, I may have to leave the empire to him. Husband and brother, you should not confide in Chuka Aklo. She belongs to another dynasty. The nobles will not allow you to transfer the lordship to Capac Wari. Remember that our union is for the good of the empire, and it has nothing to do with love. You can give all your affections to her, but leave her son out of the succession. Inca, the desire for immortality that some old men seek in younger women has also affected you. More kingdoms have been lost to this, the most insidious of all passions. What to do, Kunter Soul? I can only show my devotion to Chuka Aklo by legitimizing our love child. Inca, your obsession for her will not only bring problems to you, but also to the empire. Chuka Aklo, the nobles don't want your son to be the next Sapa Inca. There isn't much I can do. TUPAC INKA. Get rid of your detractors and of your wife. You have lost your edge, and that is why you need Capac Wari to help you. Ambivalent as to whom to choose for his successor, TUPAC picked the future consort for TUPAC INKA YUPANQUE, the beautiful Kyusi Rimai Aklo, and also his legitimate sister. A must for a future king to be shamans. I am the preferred concubine of Tupac Yupanque. The nobles are trying to dissuade him from passing the crown to my son. Give me a potion that will end his final days, before he places Titu in the throne. Chuka Aklo. You are mad. We want no part of your gruesome scheme. Tupac Yupanque will kill all of us, if he discovers your plans. Shamans. Do not fear for your welfare. I am the mother of the next Sapa Inka to be, and nothing is going to happen to you. Kunter Soul, someone has put a spell on me. I feel my powers are leaving me. What to do? Tupac, the end of our days are not the most pleasant moments of our existence, and one must be resigned for this event. You should put in order the transfer of power or the empire will fall. Man of the future, I have decided that Tita Kusi Yupanque will be the next Sapa Inka. Although, I would have preferred that Capac Wari be the one. But, I have rescinded from that idea some time ago. You may have, but you are not even planning his coronation. Titu is too young, my trusted advisors will take care of the empire until he is of age. Perhaps it may happen so, but Chuka Aklo will have plans to usurp the lordship for your son after you die. You have traveled too long with us, and now you know what we are capable of doing to ourselves. Inka. That is politics. We are not alone in this endeavor, and we have to let history take its course. Mama Aklo, call all my children and nobles, Inti is calling me. In his last moments, he began to talk to them in a stern voice. Listen and hear me well. I want my successor to be Tita Kusi Yupanque. Do not ever let the seeds of discord alter his destiny. Inka, your descendants also want to hear your last words of wisdom, so as not to make the same mistakes of the past. Oh, man of the future. You never got into my soul, because I learned very young not to trust anyone. From the depths of my inert being, I say to all of you, do not be like we were, and respect each other. Once you can do that, you will have the fortitude to become a great nation. Tupac Yupanque died a painful death. As we will find out later, indeed, this is the land of treachery. So was our past, so is our present, and it behooves us to change that pattern. The only key to our future.